everybody. So whoever's here, say hello to us. Put your name and where you're from in the chat room. Welcome. I'm seeing a lot of new names, which is so exciting. I love it. Okay. Well, not sure that this is, oh, okay. Cool. Okay, you guys. So I'll give it a minute. First, I want to introduce myself for a quick sec. My name is Corin, and a lot of you probably already have done some of the work that I've done, the little angelic creations that we've done. Today, we're gathered around to talk about this psychic psychic development for badasses class that's coming up. There's some amazing questions that you guys had about your spiritual path and your spiritual gifts and all of that. So I can't wait to get to some of these questions. Just as a reminder, I'm a licensed psychotherapist that had a crazy miracle happen with angels, and it kind of woke me up. It actually activated some of my spiritual gifts and got me on a journey towards listening to my intuition, hearing my intuitive voice, and begin taking actions based on that voice, which was so different than the other voice that used to be in my head, which was always trying to tear me down and tell me I wasn't worth anything, and essentially trying to get me to leave the planet. So this intuitive voice really, in conjunction with the angels, really is what set me free, not just my purpose, but also helped me connect with more love. And, I'm currently experiencing more love in my life than I've ever had, and definitely a lot more cash. So this intuitive development and psychic development is really near and dear to my heart, because it's literally what saved me. And I've spent the last maybe 6 or 7 years training other people all over the world in intuition and energy medicine, not because it's some random thing, but because learning energetic mastery over myself and my environment, as well as learning how to cultivate a confident connection with my intuition, is really what led me out of what felt like a prison into more freedom. So I'm so glad that you're here and that you want to kind of tinker around with these concepts and learn a little bit more. I want to introduce you to Amber Minton, who is my executive assistant. She's essentially my, what do you call it? My salvation, my saving grace, my sanity, all wrapped up in one. If you've ever emailed my support team, she's the one who answers you. And she is so amazing. So she's coming today to help facilitate our meeting. So hi, Amber. Thanks for being here.
Yes. Oh, I just love being on these calls because I get such an ego boost from Corinne, right?
I can't hear you. Hold on a second. So dumb. Okay. Okay, I can hear you now.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, I was just saying how much I love being on these calls because you always give me such a little ego boost. Who doesn't love that, right?
I know, well, you're a mom, so you're not getting many ego boosts.
Right. Yeah. I have a baby and a teenager, so yeah, not many thanks.
No, it's mostly like, God, I suck in every direction I look right now. I know. I have kind of, a teenager and a little one too. So awesome.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped to be here. I've got everyone's questions here. So are we ready to dive in?
We almost are, except for I have to share this card that I pulled right before we got on, which is why I was like about a minute late, because I was so enthralled at how aligned it was for the work that we're doing today. And also, if you're here, feel free to, this is like kind of a face-to-face meeting. I don't know if we announced that, but if you have capacity to turn on your video, feel free to. We love to see your face, and it helps us make it more personal. Of course, if you're, engaged in any kind of illicit activity, that's not the good time to turn on the video, but whatever floats your boat. Okay. I'm not judging whatever it is you're up to. So, okay, this dang card. All right. So I just got revitalized, Amber. Amber's a tarot card expert. And I used to do tarot cards a long time ago, and I've been kind of dabbling in it again. And so I decided to pull this card called it's called the Hanged Man, but this book that I use is always like so spot on. It's crazy. So I'm going to read you word for word what this means. And I want you to feel into, so whenever I do readings or if I read from a book, um, it's important for you as intuitives or blossoming intuitives to really be able to receive just the bits that are for you. You can discard the rest, but it does require an open eyes and open ears and an open heart for you to actually be able to hear where the truth is for you. So everybody take a couple of breaths, sink into your body, really commit to being in this space, because there's a lot of information that'll come through in general that could be for you. So I don't want you to miss the message, whether it's from this card or from the Q&A. So really commit to taking your other responsibilities out of this space. And let's just call in our angels and our guides and our higher selves real quick, our cosmic badass self into the room so they can help us hear better and see better and feel better. Okay, so I'm going to read you this dang card. Okay. The Hanged Man is nailed upside down, a position in which the personal will is broken. The situation is at a stalemate. There's no more room to move. Escape of any kind has become impossible. The serpents of transformation and wisdom lay coiled and sleeping. I mean, it's so doom and gloom. It's starting off a little trepidatious. Okay, let's see where we go with this. The Hanged Man is nailed to the wood of his petrified attitudes and viewpoints. His eyes are closed. He is blind to all which does not fit into the closed system of his concepts. Every new idea, every new impulse is ignored or resisted. His head is shaved. The hair, symbol of spiritual perception, is removed. The Hanged Man has even lost trust in his own intuition. All his efforts seem unpromising and doomed to failure. And wow, I've read some of your questions, and it was like, yeah, it's like this book or this explanation right now. His head. Okay, so I already got to that. However, okay, here's where we start changing. Everybody's waiting for the however. We need the however. However, even in the midst of this hopelessness, wonders can occur. The point has come in which you can no longer avoid seeing naked realities. There's nothing left but to face up to them and to let go. This form of capitulation, the giving up of willfulness and frozen ideologies, leads to a far-reaching transformation, breaking through rigid behavior patterns, clearing away old rubbish, full surrender to the higher self, freedom from narrow-mindedness and dogma. One who bows willingly to the cosmic order of the universe is able to become one with the flow of the Tao. Not my will, but thy will be done. For thy will is also mine. The great reward for the deep surrender to the whole is a 180-degree turn. The world can be seen from a new perspective. And here's an indication. It's now possible for you to recognize where you are stuck and which areas of your life are congealed rather than flowing. There is nothing to do. The mere act of perceiving your reality clearly makes transformation possible. So if you saw my 3-day live stream, it really crazily touches on the themes that were presented in this card about the rigid oppressive structures that we've been living in, the tyrannical part of ourselves inside that has been limiting ourselves, limiting our ability to grow and expand, and that we are in a graduation. We are currently expanding, but it is a choice. what they're saying in this card, or what I feel, is that you don't have an option now to look away from the truth. You can feel where the rigidity, where the tightness, where the clampedness is in your life. And now your choice is to really see it and begin making those changes that are required to get out of oppression, get out of that prison, and to start taking radical steps to do what? To essentially surrender to your true nature, surrender to the divine. Thy will, not my will, be done. And I wish I got this card before I was trying to write about this program, because if I read the card first, I just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. This is exactly what the 2-day weekend is about. It's about learning how to energetically dissolve, to remove blocks, to detox from the crapola, the unconscious crap, the conscious crap, so that you can be in alignment with your soul, with your higher power, with cosmic order, and begin embodying the true will, not just your small sense of your personality. So I loved this card. What did you guys think? Let me know in the chat room about this. Did any of that resonate for you? Let me know. Amber, what did you think about the card? I mean, I know you know about Hanged Man, but isn't it cool for what we're doing here?
Yeah, it is. It's perfect,
What
right?
were your thoughts on what I read with regards to what we're doing in this community and this next level of learning for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's so perfect, right? Because when you're the card, they're hanging there, right? They can't move. It's like now's the time. You're forced. You have to see things from a different perspective. Like it's time. And I always think it's interesting because the next card in the deck is death. Because you've got to let stuff go. And death isn't like death, as we know. Death is just releasing and letting stuff go, cutting down all that like all the dead plants and composting them and reemerging, which is what it talks about, in your book, even as part of the Hanged Man. So very beautiful and very, yeah, like definitely where we are, I think. I mean, there's no choice left. We have to see things differently if we want to grow. So
Yeah,
really
we have to see things differently. We have to do things differently.
mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And what happens if we don't, Amber?
I mean, I guess you're just going to stay hanging there. I mean, like, how long can you stay upside down, guys? I don't want to know.
I don't know. I've done it for decades.
Right. Yeah.
I did it for a while until my mid-30s. Then I finally started listening, like I told you guys, started listening to the intuitive voice and started taking actions that were weird, like taking my first angel class. After I had the miracle, I was guided to start learning more, and it was so impractical for me to do that, so expensive, and my house was going into foreclosure and we were on the brink of divorce. I mean, really bad time for me to take myself to Hawaii and get away for a week with cash I didn't have, and like literally $0. We were way in debt. And so it was really that, that's when I started choosing getting off the freaking Hanged Man card and started going through my transformation, my real solid, big ass transformation. So, so we can stay in that hanged state indefinitely until we become, what's the word, invigorated, to start stepping off the Hanged Man and start making clear, taking action, start moving in that direction. My preference is to start moving in direction of your intuition, of that voice, right? Because you can move in any old direction, but learning the intuition will help get you on a path that's just juicier, a little juicier, a little more in alignment with your purpose and with who you are at a soul level. So I hope you appreciate that card. I literally almost fell off my chair. I'm like, they even said cosmic order. All right. And this is about opening up your cosmic star gifts. I was just like, damn. Okay. So I'm going to start to reinvigorating my passion for these cards. Okay. So Amber, let's get to some questions.
Yes, let's do it. Okay. Here we go. So the first question, perfect. When do you know if you are ready to develop your psychic gifts?
Oh, okay. I love this question because it's when you begin asking if you're ready to develop your psychic gifts. Essentially, that, spirit talks to us, and it starts with like a really weird questions like that. Like, the questions that we didn't grow up with our parents asking us or our teachers telling us we should consider. That's when your soul is really speaking to you. It's bringing you into the right environments and inviting you to do things a little differently. So I would say, whether you're aware of that or not, it's always time to develop our psychic gifts. I am still developing my psychic gifts over time. Now it's a whole different level of psychic gifts that I'm working on now, but there's been some incredible gifts coming through that are, I would never even consider that they're gifts, but they really are. And so for you, always just don't even question it. Just always develop your psychic gifts in whichever way you can, because it can be very helpful, especially in a time like this where our planet is, or our culture is wobbling, things are fracturing off, and a lot of us feel like we lost our compass. And so your true north lives inside of your intuition, lives inside of your psychic gifts, which is why I love teaching psychic development and things like this, because it helps put you in contact with your true north. So if you're asking that question, then it's time to develop your psychic gifts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can pretty much guarantee my dad never asked himself that question. It's like, if you're asking that question, there's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so here's a good one. My daughter and I watched the replays of your 3 days of Facebook Lives last week, and we were absolutely moved by the meditation in the last one. And we're wondering if you have a download of that segment that we could access again.
No, I don't. We haven't done that segment, but you can download any of my live streams and segment it out or fast forward through it. So I'm really focused on developing content and new content for this 2-day journey. If you liked that particular thing, that was just really the tip of the iceberg. I mean, 2 days isn't going to be enough. So, but it's a start. So if you have activations from the work that we're doing, I hope you're coming to join us. But yeah, feel free to download that material, and you can pull that little segment out if you know someone. I mean, nowadays, like, you can get a 5th grader to know how to to pull out little audio clips. I can't do it. But anyways, I'm so glad that you felt something, and your daughter. And wow, I also want to say how amazing it is that she's got a mother like you, and that you're doing some really cool, interesting stuff, and you're listening to the other pulse in the universe, in the world.
Yeah, I love that. I think about that a lot, of how generations are changing, and what we can do, what we're able to do for our kids is so different, than what our parents knew and could do. And it's just beautiful. And I think about when our kids are going to have kids, it's going to be like mind blowing, right?
I know. I'm going to have to
I can't wait.
I'm going to have to come back and just to check it out,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but yeah, it's true. The world is, as the light begins, or you can call them light codes, begin getting activated, our consciousness is shifting. I know a lot of you here, or a lot of you watching the replay, have had massive changes in perception and don't know what to do about it. I really am passionate about teaching these energy practices, because it's actual survival and thrival skill sets that we need to really adapt to the changes that are happening on the planet. So, and I really, God, I envision a world where we're teaching our children in school about energy, about energetic boundaries, about how to not take on other people's shit, how to embody your own self, how to make decisions internally as opposed to just up here, how to listen to that voice. I mean, how different would our world be, right? If we were all just kind of like accepting that we're spiritual beings in this body versus, humans just trying to have a spiritual experience. It's really the opposite thing. We're just kind of like partying in this human form and doing the best we can. So that question really had a lot in it, didn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool. It gives me chills to think about
I
just
know.
how awesome it's going to be.
And kids are so dialed in too. So it's like,
So dialed in.
I
It's
know.
wild.
I'm like, you are my only gurus, my only teachers. Just sit with my daughter and just, okay, so tell me how the world began. Oh my God, that's so deep.
Yeah, right. I love it. Okay, so here we go. What, if anything, keeps me blocked from being in harmony with the gifts I have been given?
Um, that's a many leveled issue. And you may have been asking for you personally, but it's not a personal issue. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's a collective problem. It's a systemic problem. First, the first problem is that we were not taught about ourselves as energetic beings. We were only taught because of the rise of materialism and the scientific revolution. All of us were if you weren't dialed into some kind of like orthodox or really religious upbringing, the rest of us were taught that we are like humans, like just with the physical bodies. So that impairs our ability to really accept our true nature. So that's one block. Another block that we have towards really accepting our spiritual nature, and this is true for even hyper religious people, is that our mystical aspect and our authentic connection with spirituality has been overtly demonized, and people have been burned at the stake for talking to trees and really embracing that animals speak to us, and for knowing the medicine of the land, and for doing herbs and really participating as a natural form on this planet. We have separated ourselves from that. And so those of you who are here and a lot of others are really coming back to our natural state of being, which is, holy shit, like I'm really separate from, you're like, the world is alive, and we're really having to deconstruct and dismantle some of the stuff that we're taught. So of course it's fear is the number one block to really accepting your spiritual gifts, which is why we have to address it at a cultural level. Like, what were you taught, and what did your ancestors believe? What do you believe? There are so many people who are even afraid to light incense or light sage, because they've been so terrorized by their belief system, by the belief system they were indoctrinated into. It's not even their belief system. They've just taken it on as truth. So 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 there's many reasons for these blocks. Your task is to realize that there's a block there. So good for you on that. And then to sit with your guides, with your angels, with your higher self, with your cosmic self, and really invite in the release of this stuff, and it's really a lot about the hanged man again, realizing that there's a contraction, there's a prison cell that you didn't know was there, that is in fact there. And now how do we hack the system? So the weekend that I'm creating is really about hacking the architecture, hacking the system, hacking that system that we were born into, so that so and having breaking down that old building so that you can resurrect and build a building that is more in alignment with your heart centeredness, with your soul centeredness, with your gifts. A lot of people are also afraid of their actual gifts, right? They're afraid of the power that's inside of them, which is very, very big power. So you have to check in with yourself. And here are the things to ask yourself. What's my worst worry, worst fear, if in fact I can move mountains, or if I am magical, or if I actually can manifest, or if I am an angel in human form? What's my worst fear about that? And you can really walk yourself through a process, and you keep asking, then what's my fear? And then what's my fear? Oh, my family's um gonna disown me, or there's a lot of shit in there. It's a process. And it takes work, but it's work worth doing. Consider it a labor of love. Literally, it's a labor of love.
Awesome. Okay, our next question is, I'm excited to take the psychic development class. I have no idea what my superpowers are. I'm transitioning from reflective contemplation to actual growth and developing a skill I can use to help others. What are some common clues or clue giving processes that I can be on the lookout for?
On the lookout for what? Like lookout for what?
Common clues I can be on the lookout for how to develop their skills, how to develop their superpowers to help others.
Okay. Um, it's almost kind of the same thing. If you're contemplating these things, then that's the biggest clue that you need to know that you are, if you have the random thought that you want to help, that you want to support, that you want to be a healer, but you feel like, well, I don't have any gifts, you're a freaking healer. I feel that, spirit puts us in. Do you guys know what Manchurian candidates are? I don't really know where they came from, but it's like back in the spy days, it could be like a Russian thing, but like they would hypnotize assassins, and these assassins wouldn't know that they're assassins. So, but then someone, and I'm totally probably getting this wrong, but here's the concept, is that then the spies would, the leaders of the spy groups would come and activate the assassins, and then the assassins would just turn into like an assassin all of a sudden and then do their thing. So they're like sleeping agents, sleeper agents that are kind of walking around. I feel that people like us are also sleeper agents, but like the opposite of assassins. We are here to bring preciousness, to bring tenderness, to bring love, to bring illumination, to bring wisdom and healing. So if you have even the slight sense that that you want to help and heal, I want you to first stop saying you don't have any gifts. Okay. It's more like, I'm not sure what they are, but they're there. And if you really spend some time thinking about who you are and how you've impacted people already in your life, then your gift will start revealing itself already just by reverse engineering what people have said to you about your presence, how they feel around you. That begins to reveal to you part of your purpose and your essence. Something else I want to say is that we all have these gifts. Okay. I'll tell you which ones you have already. You are already highly empathic. You are already clairvoyant. You are already clairaudient. Now it's just about realizing who you are and how your gifts already work. So most of the people, so many of the people who come into my trainings, my 6-month intuitive healing training or whatever, a lot of them say exactly the same thing. I don't have any gifts. I don't know what they are. But then it's almost like right away. I mean, literally day one, first hour, they're like, holy shit, how am I feeling Jesus right now? How's this working? And it's because you already have the gift. My passion, what I do is help work the environment for us so that when you walk into the environment, it automatically starts releasing you from the prison so that you can feel yourself, you can hear yourself, you can think yourself in a different way. And so I do that by working with spirit and working with God, working with angels to create the proper environment for our Manchurian candidates to get activated. That's exactly what we're going to do in this 2-day workshop as well.
Yay.
I answer that question.
I'm gonna be there. Yeah, that's great. Okay, here's the next one. I've been recognizing important loved ones who have crossed over, associated with the angels we work with. Is that to be expected? I feel kind of a romantic love for Michael and a special comfort from Ariel and Uriel. So it's like they're associating the crossed over loved ones with the archangels.
Yeah. Is there, okay, so what's the question?
Sorry, my dogs. um, I've been recognizing important loved ones associated with the angels we work with. Just is that normal? Is that to be expected?
Yes and no. It's not to be expected for most people, but if you're an unconscious medium, remember I said Manchurian candidates were sleeper agents for good. So if you're someone who is designed for mediumship, meaning you can feel, sense, and know spirits, okay, so that is not my official gift, although I do that work sometimes when it's really necessary, like, someone will come into the room. But I work with angels and I feel sense, and that's my jam. Some people are really good at the spirits. And so if you are unconsciously a medium, you're going to find these correlations as well. and the spirit world talks to you a lot. And a lot, it's funny because I've trained so many people, and always in my communities, there's like a percentage of people who don't realize that they're kick-ass mediums, and that part of their work is to either help spirits cross over or to help bring love between the other world and this world, and kind of be bridges in that way. So I would say for you, it's perfectly natural, because more than likely you're unconsciously a medium, and you just haven't really developed that skill officially yet.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you always hear, because it's like spirits come to everyone differently, right? So it's
Yeah,
always interesting to hear how they come to different people, because it's never the same. I've never heard it like be exactly the same for anyone. So
I
that's
know.
really
Yeah, it's
cool.
really cool. And I think that's part of the process. It's not about, hey, is this normal or is this not normal?
Mhm.
I mean, it's all completely abnormal and so normal at the same time. So it's really about trusting your unique spark, who you are at an essence level, and trusting, um, learning to develop again a level of sensitivity and wisdom where you can kind of decode what's happening and really learn how to trust and have confidence in how you're processing information, in regular life, but also in your intuitive life.
Mhm. Okay, so next question. Now that I'm in the process of my spiritual awakening, the signs are bursting through. That's awesome. I have found that maintaining that high vibe is not as easy. Old patterns are becoming clear, but sometimes I'm afraid that it's ego versus my spirit. So, how do I eliminate that belief? Maybe separating ego from just spirit.
I'm not sure I understand what she means by separating, like what she means by ego.
Mm.
Um, um, oh, can you say the first part of the question again? There was something I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, now that I'm having my spiritual awakening, the signs are bursting through, but I found that maintaining my high vibration is not as easy. Old patterns become clear and courage needs to take place, I know, but sometimes I fear it's the ego versus my spirit. How do I eliminate this belief?
Okay. I don't think you have to eliminate the belief. First of all, do you see the hints of that hanging man card in this thing about, the patterns are coming up. Now what do you do about it? Um, so in the beginning, when you're learning to lead a really truly dialed in intuitive life, you cannot separate ego from, like, is this the true spiritual call or is it my ego? Here's something that you can do to bypass some of that, is that you really have to feel into, okay, if you let this pattern or this thing go, whether it's changing your job, changing your relationship, you have to really feel into the part of you. um, do you feel, sense, or know any enthusiasm, any excitement? If you're excited about it, always go in that direction. Then there's another voice that's going to be like, you can never do that, you can never pull it off. That's the voice of the ego. The ego's there. I love my ego because it's the reason why I'm still alive. And so you're not really trying to eliminate ego beliefs. You're just supposed to, like, our task is to really acknowledge them. Like, okay, I see you talking right now, but I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to the cool voice is trying to, like, get me to party more in life. And so um, follow the path that's going to always lead you to more joy. And sometimes you don't know what that is until you slow down. Imagine that you make the changes, you feel into it. Does it feel exciting, yet a little anxiety provoking? Awesome. The spiritual path is not flowy or easy. Often it can be very supportive, but when you really are at the hanging man level, it's going to be sometimes terrorizing, because you do need to make these changes that you feel like, I don't know if I'm going to survive. Like, I don't know if I can make it on my own if I leave this toxic relationship. And that's where our spiritual nature comes in. That's where faith comes in. Something else I want to say about your spiritual awakening and your activation, this feeling of sinking, going up and down and up and down. It's important not to overly worship the highs, because we're human, which means we're going to have highs and lows. And so it's all part of the spiritual process. Your dark is dark when you're punching yourself in the head because you hate yourself, and you're drinking whiskey and you're watching porn and all that stuff. It's still part of the spiritual experience. Why? Because you cannot be separated from your spirituality, because you are a spiritual being coming in for this human experience. So I just want to say, there's a huge light worship out there. And as if you saw my live streams, I talked a little bit about gold workers, where when you sink low, it's temporary. A lot of times you're just transmuting dark energy. And so when you sink, think of it and frame it in your mind as like, okay, I'm processing some heavy energy, and try not to attach to it, but do the practices that can help you move through it, whether it's deep breathing, or there's just a variety of things that you can do. But I've had a lot of awakenings over the last many years, and it's like this peak experience, like, ooh, insight, awesome. And then, oh shit, my toilet still has to get scrubbed. It's like, then there's real life that happens, and there's just all, real life that happens. So I just want you to know that's part of your spiritual experience, is experience the lows with the highs, and saying yes to both, and doing what you can to not overly suffer. So not attaching to those things. But again, I would just want to stress for all of us, always move in a direction that is more of a party, okay? That's more yes, that's more juicy, that's more luscious, as opposed to always kind of like, I got to do the quote unquote right thing. We have been overly bombarded with duties and responsibilities that make us feel like we're prisoners. And so it's really a balance. There's certain tasks, certain things that you're going to have to stay grounded for and keep those responsibilities. But then there are other things like changing your career, getting out of a toxic relationship, or, things like that really do need a big change. Okay.
Okay. If we can't afford the 2-day workshop, can we still get our star gifts? I used to have healing abilities and I fought demons. A. Michael came to me when I did the last ones. I really want to have my powers back, but I'm being blocked. I don't have any money. What can I do?
Yeah. Well, at least you're contemplating this. I'm going to kind of go back to what I was just saying. When you find yourself in a position where you're not, having enough cash, you're feeling blocked all the way around, it really has to go deep inside of you. And it's about taking aligned action. And yes, okay, of course, I just want to say, you don't have to have cash in order to have access to your star gifts. You can maybe just ask for that on a daily basis. But what I want to say to you is that I have, of course, been severely blocked in my life. I would consider the first 35 years of my life one giant block towards joy, towards happiness, towards abundance, all of that. It wasn't until I took like an extraordinary amount of, I guess, what's the word? I guess responsibility. I mean, that sounds rude. I'm not saying it like that, but it starts with you. We're not going to be rescued, but Spirit is giving you action steps to take always. And so I want you to think about, what is the thing that keeps on circling back? And I hope that you're doing meditation and prayer on how to unblock yourself. You can do channel writing. Hey, Spirit, how can I get myself through this and move through this situation? And keep writing. I would spend at least a week or two writing down, okay, what's my first step to get me unblocked? What's my first step to get me unblocked? Then the trick is that you have to actually take the dang action, which most people, because we're so negative in our brains, oh, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do that. The whole I don't know how thing, by the way, as a PS, it's such an illusion. The whole I don't know how thing, because we have Google. So you just Google it. And then within 24 to 48 hours, you can be an expert in just about anything, any business, how to start a business, like all of it. It's all right here for us, which is great. So just know we have all the tools. Whoever asked this question, you have all the tools. Now it's just a matter of divining, intuiting which direction that you want to go. When the voice of fear and doubt, which to me is the devil in disguise, when the devil starts trying to pull those tricks, you just say, not today. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this no matter what. So determination. If you have a hard time staying committed and being determined and taking action steps, positive risks, then find friends or community that you can be held accountable. Let them know what your plan is. People who get you, okay? Not people who are just going to try and tear you down. Find accountability buddies to help you commit to moving through this. Also, finding counseling. If you're really in a dark place and feeling blocked, a weekly counselor or a weekly therapist or a weekly healer that's really kick ass, then do that in the beginning to help unlock your words, your passion, your desire. So I hope that helps. It always starts with us and taking radical actions to heal our lives, to move towards love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Now here's one about physical. I am in serious pain and have been for a long time. I have addressed the physical, medical issues, but pain remains. I want so very much to move out of this pain as my first step forward, but how do I do that?
Okay. Well, I think it's a perfect time to really start understanding yourself as an energetic being. When I look at energy medicine, holistic medicine, all of those, I do not think that it's divorced from medical Western medicine. So I have a deep respect for science and Western medicine. And I also have a deep respect for energy medicine because I've seen both create miracles. So it would be a really fun time for you to explore yourself as not just someone who's in chronic pain, but also someone who may be an empath, who's taken on a lot of dark energy and to explore concepts and ideas about how to detox from that energy. The reason why I say that is because I've trained a lot of people, many of them with chronic conditions like fibromyalgia, some folk who couldn't get out of bed, things like that. And that within the first few months of our energy healing training, and doing the practices that help you become embodied, help you detox from energy, help you become re-embodied. Someone who experiences a lot of pain will want to escape and leave the body because it's so uncomfortable. So detoxing from the energy body is such a good idea. So people who came into some of my programs who had chronic conditions, chronic pain, many of them reported a huge decrease in pain within the first couple of months, actually within the first month, because I always start with the building blocks, which is know yourself as an energetic being first before you start working in other people's energy fields. So, so that psychic development level 1 is really about detoxing from other people's shit, arming up with your own super juice, your own power, and then understanding how other people's energy impacts you. So, so I'm not saying that it 100% has cured every single person who had chronic pain, but I'm saying it has been so significant, the response. I've seen it through this many years of doing this work that I know that it works for some people if you're an empath, and that is part of it. But yeah, a reduction of pain or an elimination of pain, I've seen a lot of those over the years.
Yeah, that's so true. It's wild. It's wildly unbelievable, but it's so true. I have ulcerative proctitis, which is an autoimmune disorder. And I was taking 8 pills a day. I thought for the rest of my life. When I started doing spiritual work, I'm not even on my meds anymore. And I can tell when I'm starting to get out of line because I can feel it in my stomach. And I never thought that that was like a real thing, right? But it is. It's nuts.
I love that. Wow, Amber, that's so incredible. But yeah, like I know a lot of people who've had similar things. I mean, you'd never I mean, and I think my students were, they were coming in because they want to learn how to be badass intuitives. They didn't know that one of the byproducts of doing that was healing their body,
Mhm.
also healing their relationships and their heart. Because when you gain energetic mastery, you kind of understand, oh shit, energy's real. And Amber, I know you, you're so sensitive, you're such a sweetheart. I think you take on a lot of people's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to back you away from even taking on my shit. Like, Amber, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. Corinne's like, it's fine.
She's
That
getting
was a
like,
conversation we had yesterday.
yeah, that was just yesterday. Yeah, she thought that a recording didn't happen. She's about to throw up, and I was like, "Hey, it's gonna be fine. Like I'm totally cool as a cucumber."
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny. It's interesting. And how many people have autoimmune disorders? I mean, it's such a huge span of problems. And yeah, it's interesting. Okay, next question. So, what in your experience is the main reason why some people cannot heal or be freed from negative spiritual interferences, no matter what they do? I have worked with hundreds of healers, and things only get worse. I cannot escape. No one seems to be able to help. How does one escape their destiny and cross to bear and just be free to be themselves?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of belief systems wrapped up in there. I assume that by dark energy, she's talking about entities, demons, that kind of thing, where like a dark presence is haunting her. We're not. I won't get into like whether that's a reality or not. I will say, from my experience, it can be true, and I've worked with several people who had things with them on them. Generally, they're not hard to clear. So, so in this particular case, it seems like trying a new tactic is a good idea. And I'm going to talk about, take this from the lens of archetypal psychology. As I mentioned, I have a degree in psychology. So if the healing work is not transforming, so what healers do is they just like, let go, get away, get out of here, right? Get thee behind me, Satan. I don't want anything to do with you. As an alchemist, and a transmuter, you might want to try a different approach, which is to not see these energies as enemies, but perhaps as inner figures. So I'm going to talk about, some people see angels and demons as outer figures. You can also look at it as inner figures. So if you have this truly dark presence, where we want to run from darkness, where a lot of folk want to run from darkness and have everything be love and light, another option is to run towards it and to have some good conversations and to actually approach it as a healer, healing these dark aspects of quite possibly could be yourself. So we are powerful, okay, which means we can manifest all kinds of stuff. And if you're a telekinetic, if you're crazy psychic, like intensely psychic, you can manifest things that appear to be like poltergeist, right? And some poltergeists are real, but some of them, if they don't clear, then that's the thing that's making me go, maybe this is an aspect of your unconscious God that is pissed, angry, that wants to get your attention, and it's tired of you rejecting it. In theory, okay? So what I'm saying here is something for you to think about, chew on it for a second. Could it be possible that it is an aspect of your unconscious power that's wreaking havoc in your life, much like an addiction would, much like, I don't know, if you get into a series of car accidents all the time or whatever, could it be unconscious material? And if so, how could you go about doing the integration work around it? A lot of times these aspects of ourselves house incredible power. And what they need most is acceptance, understanding, and love, just like in any tantruming child. So instead of thinking of it as dark energy demon, no matter how you think of it and how it appears, it needs think of it as needing acceptance, love, um, just like we all do, and then see what happens, right? See what happens. Is there an alliance? Can you build a relationship, build an agreement, set up a contract and say, okay, how about you give this aspect of yourself a different thing to do? So instead of harassing you and blocking you, maybe you give it a more important job. And so I've done this work with aspects of myself as well. Okay. And so I just wanted to give you a different framework, just because you said you've tried everything, um, as far as trying to clear it. And so maybe it's more about integration work, or you can try integration work. You call in your guides, you call in your angels, you ask them to really uh, let go of the toxicity that you're holding towards this experience. And that goes with, like, if you're struggling, whatever demons coming up in your lives, guys, like whether it's addiction or whatever, it could be anything. Our first step is always to detox from the dark emotion that we hold towards this thing. So I hate my addiction. I hate that I can't, you want to stop, get out of that, because it creates more of it. And and ask spirit to help you become more neutral, to help you open your eyes, and to help give you the strength and power to move through this. So I hope that presented some fun concepts and ideas to work with along the way. Amber, what do you think?
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that kind of, I mean, not that it's part of her, but embracing your shadow self is such cool work. And just learning how to know that everything's not always going to be love and light, and accepting that, and finding ways to work with it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, there's actually this there's a lot of different ways to integrate these little shadowy bits, but if you Google search, is it Pima? It's like some kind of llama. I forget the name of the llama, but feed your demons. So it's, look up feed your demons. You can maybe psychology or something, and there's different processes. I had that link recently, but I forget exactly who it was. But there's different ways to do it. But you're looking to integrate parts of your shadow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. Okay, so here we have a question about, I lost it. Oh, here we go. About the program. Can you talk about how the experience of the psychic development course will be if we can't make it live, and can only access it via the replay? I've gotten so much out of your 3-day talks. Will this build onto that and take us much deeper?
Yeah. Yeah, the 3-day talks really is an entry point into the work that we're going to be doing. I wanted to give you guys kind of a deeper framework, because a lot of the stuff is impossible to convey in just like here's the landing page and come take psychic development. So I wanted to do something a little bit differently to kind of weave in the information that inspired this workshop. So if you're not going to be there live, that's not a problem at all on any level. So and and you can, even if you have questions beforehand, ask me questions beforehand so I can answer some of your questions. But yeah, I will still go through the same processes, and this stuff works whether you're live or not. We set up the energetic field in order for it to do so. We set up the energetic field so that the right people come and attend as well. And so that so that it works. So I've been teaching and training these kinds of medicines for quite a while, and half of our students can't ever come live. So we know how to make sure that it's potent, whether you're live or not.
Yep, for sure. I can never make anything live, so I'm always watching the replay of everything.
Me either. I mean, I like to make programs that I could do, essentially.
Yeah, and I always just re-listen. I'm like listening, to stuff all the time. So I can attest that I feel like if you watch it more than once, you get more, you always find little nuggets. And so I think that not being there live is no problem. And of course we have Q&As set up where you can submit your questions to Corinne and she'll answer it. So you can catch that on the live. Okay, I think we probably have time for maybe just one more question. So here we go. I find women are masters of multitasking, helping a range of people. Do you recommend focusing and choosing just one career, or can having 2 careers ever be the right option?
Oh my God, that is such a great question. I'm telling you, one of the hardest things for me right now when it comes to my career is when someone asks me what I do. It is the hardest. I'm just like, I don't know anymore. I mean, it's like I'm a therapist, I'm a speaker, I'm a healer, I'm an author, I'm a freaking teacher, I'm a podcast. Like it's just too, it's a lot. So because I am a multitasker and I get bored doing the same thing all the time. So own who you are is the bottom line. Don't, don't, no matter who tells you what, do what your heart is asking you to do. There's different, I know plenty of, and by the way, I forgot to mention, I also own a, a mobile dog grooming business called Moondogs Mobile. So I really don't know what I do anymore. I do it all. Okay. And I'm always working on new businesses behind the scenes. So do whatever the hell you feel like doing. Don't let anybody limit you with their thinking about, well, you grow up and then you get a degree in accounting and then you become a CPA. You work for a big 5 firm and, like, fuck that, right? So do what makes your heart sing. It's a requirement right now if you want to thrive, right? So that's really like what we're doing with this intuitive thing. Like, what does my heart really want? And start moving in that direction. So with every business, I will tell you this, with everything that I just mentioned, I did take special time out to launch it in a way that it was going to be successful. So I spent time just being a therapist so that I could become an expert in that, right? And then I spent time teaching. And I did that for a while before I kept adding new layers. So I start something, it's cool. Maybe it only takes me 3 months to get it down to where I have to do something new, or 6 months. So your passion projects require your love, and each one is like an intimate relationship. So make sure that, just like with a real relationship, that you can give it the love and attention, and that you have the time and love and attention that it deserves. And if you don't, then you wait, you put the one that's not the most pressing on the back burner. And when you've expanded time and you have more time to love it the way that you need to love it, is good. Or another thing you can do is merge somehow the businesses. I've seen a lot of people do that. But we are increasingly multi-passionate, and we have permission to be multi-passionate.
Yep. Yeah, it's like you can just say, I don't really do labels when people ask you what you do, right? It's like a relationship. I'm not into labels. I
know,
just,
it's so true. It's so true. I mean, really, like when I added the dog grooming business, then it's just like, I just can't, I don't even know. Like, that's a weird question. Don't ask me. I just do stuff. Just do stuff, just do stuff.
Yep. Well, Corinne, we're at the top of the hour. So I don't know if you want to say anything for us in closing, but I think we're about out of time.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for coming and for signing up for this. Also, we had a lot of questions, so we couldn't get to them all. So I'm hoping that you received whatever it is that you needed to receive, or you received some good stuff from other people's questions. Oh, Katerina, you did? Did you receive some good stuff? I saw you do a little, oh, thank God. Phew. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk to you. We are kicking this off on July 10th, and 2 days of awesomeness. It's going to be fun, powerful, and I'm going to be sharing, over that 2 days, there's going to be a lot that's going to be pouring through that, because usually when we get the group together, then new information comes through, or someone has this like amazing question, and then, it's going to be really juicy and powerful. So you will be mastering, or getting a level of mastery over just how you move as an energetic being, how to move that energy out, how to embody your gift. And I can't ever express how profound these things are. People are always shocked. They're like, oh my God, I've grounded before, but I've never quite grounded. I've never really felt it like that. It's really juicy, really powerful. But if you are in the hanged man position, if you are kind of like having all of this stuff rise up, you're seeing these patterns, you want to move forward, you're feeling blocked, or you really want to serve at the next level and gain a next level of personal mastery, I highly recommend you come, because we're going to be breaking down the bullshit, just breaking down the artificial structures that we've been living in, and really embodying some really cool stuff. So what do I want to say? Oh, the 75, right now you can take this course, it's $75 off at $75 off. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, $75 off. And that bonus expires on Sunday. So please, please, please.
Uh-oh, I think we're having some technical difficulties, guys.
Especially if you've never done anything like this before, right? And Amber, you were going to say something?
Oh, you froze. So I wasn't sure if you froze for everyone else, but I think you may have
I
frozen.
probably did. Okay, which part was frozen?
After you said please, 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 you froze.
Okay. So did you hear the part about if you feel like you're leaning towards it and it, no? Okay. So I want to say, if you feel like if there's something inside of you that is curious, that's like your interest is piqued and you're curious about yourself as an energetic being, um, or you feel like your body, you feel a little excited or you like some of the stuff that we talked about today, I highly recommend you jump in with us if you can. Because that's how spirit talks to us. It talks to us through our feelings, through our inspiration. And that's literally how I started stepping out of my old life into this like crazy bomb ass life. So it's worth a shot, right? Nothing to lose, only things to gain. $75 off. Also, Amber, I'm feeling inspired to add another bonus, like right this second. Okay.
What is it?
Okay, so if you're here, if you're listening to this Q&A and you sign up by Sunday, I will also offer you a 30-minute one-on-one session, intuitive healing session with one of my angel alchemists, one of the people that I've trained in intuitive healing. So we'll give, let's just say the first 10 people who sign up before Sunday, one of those spots, you guaranteed one of those spots. And we have a few more, but I know that we can guarantee 10 people today. So if you signed up, already and you did not get a 30-minute session, then email Amber support@corengrillo.com and we'll give you one too. We'll use some of the extras for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome.
Right? I was just feeling inspired, Amber. I was like, oh, let's make it like even more fun, more juicy.
Yeah, those readings are so cool. So that's really exciting. Hopefully everybody who wants one can get one. So I put the link there in the chat. It's yourcosmicsuperpower.com. So you guys go check it out.
Yeah, yourcosmicsuperpower.com. Thanks for saying. I'm glad you were here. I would have awesome, you guys. Well, so much fun hanging out with you. Thanks for the amazing questions. And we are just sending you so much good juju on your journey. As a matter of fact, look what I got. I got some rose water. I'll send you the spirit of the rose straight to you right now. Give you that juice, that little love juice that we love so much. And I'm inspired by each of you. Keep doing your work your magic, bring some goodness to the planet, please. We need it. And love you all so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Katerina. See who else is here. Bye, guys.